And welcome back, esports fans, to the PCS Week 4, Day 3. We're getting into the home stretch now, and we have quite a matchup on our hands. Before we get into that, I would like to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors, CTBC Bank, China Airlines, and Chunghwa Telecom. Thank you for making the PCS possible. Now, Nightstar, this is truly a David and Goliath. LYB Esports 2-11 on the hunt for their third win. But the opponent in front of them, the undefeated PSG Talon.
Yeah, and for the teams currently occupying the 5 or the 6, 7, 8 spot, they're really hoping everything goes as expected and LYB just takes the loss here.
Oh, yeah.
But if LYB somehow manages to get the win, it changes that playoff race like drastically.
Yeah, that starts to shift the calculus quite a bit. And, this would be a monumental task to pull off. But LYB have made some changes. Their original top laner, Speltz, is back in the lineup. It is a full Philippines team now, joining Dodoy, Xyliath, Dawn, and Aiden. So Kanji sitting on the bench currently. And, Speltz hasn't played since week 1, but I wonder if they've just been seeing him perform better in the scrim environment.
I would assume that he's been practicing a lot here. Maybe they have some sort of curveball pick to put into the hands of Speltz that they were like, all right, the next 3 weeks, you're just going into the training arc to train against Hanabi. That's your sole purpose. We're going to bring you out right here in week number 4. You're going to give us that clutch victory, and that's going to start the steamroll straight to playoffs.
Yeah, let's go. Their opponents tonight will be PSG, Hanabi, River, Maple, Unified, Kaiwing, the undefeated and undisputed kings of the PCS. Looking to make that perfect split happen. A win today would put them one step closer, as they are currently sitting at 14-0. And, there have been a handful of teams that have been able to challenge this squad. Boom Esports certainly comes to mind, but they still hold fast.
And this is definitely a team that, has gone pretty unchallenged. Even in that Boom series or game, they ended up outplaying them at the end with their macro. And, well, highlight is going to be this mid lane. Of course, it has to be this mid lane because for LYB, like Xyliath, you could also say Dodoy have been the highlight players, at least remaining. As Kanji, he has been removed, and Maple, like, how do you stop this man? You need 10 bans. You need 10 bans.
Yeah, I think the strategy that seemed to work best was when Boom kind of forced him into the opposite side of the LeBlanc-Lissandra matchup. He wasn't super effective on that champion. But we also saw he doesn't have to be the main carry on this team because River is able to step into that. Unified has been popping off if you give the man Ziggs. Hanabi can do some dirty things and get your opponent's backline and just completely delete them on a champion like Gwen. So there are threats all over this team, but Maple is certainly a highlight player in any given matchup. A very strong, very well-recognized name. He's played all over the place. He's been to Worlds on multiple occasions. We will get into picks and bans here as LYB try to topple the Titans, starting off with a Renekton ban, a LeBlanc ban. PSG, they'll get rid of the Ziggs for themselves as we get underway.
PSG, they understand Ziggs is a really, really busted champ, as they're also going to go ahead and ban away the Lulu. LYB, definitely a team that utilizes the Lulu in the solo lane, not really in that bottom lane, unfortunately. And we'll see what these last bans are going to be. I expect perhaps another mid lane ban, but it doesn't look like they're going to go ahead and ban mid lane here. Instead, it's going to be a Diana, limit some of River's hard carry potential, and maybe force them onto a more early game focused champ.
Yeah, the Diana ban is an interesting one for sure. I think the Lulu, very much a respect ban, not because Xyliath is like a super god tier player on it, but because of what it does to wild growth up Dodoy. We've seen kind of the gigantic juggernaut Olaf in the past. That is also going to be banned. So PSG really focusing on the composition that LYB has found best suited to them. And they're going to have to find a different answer here as we get to the first pick. We'll have to find out. Xin Zhao is up and available. This is a champion that Dodoy has played at least once. Lee Sin's been first picked a lot today, but how could I forget about Viego? Viego comes in, and honestly, that could go a number of places.
Yeah, it does mean that Thresh is left available, and when you put it into the hands of Kaiwing, he does absolutely filthy things. And it also means that it opens up something like an Aphelios, which Unified, he plays a very doggo style of Aphelios where he's able to really dominate the lane phase and hard punish you in the 2v2. I don't think they need to lock it in here, given the fact that even if LYB do lock it in on their rotation, they don't necessarily have that same support to help provide that extra safety for Aphelios. So it makes sense they go ahead, try and lock in another power pick. It is going to be the Lee Sin here, though, instead of the Gwen.
We have seen Lee Sin becoming a flex pick once more. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. The Gwen being flashed, Hanabi, it's his most played champion this split so far. I wonder if LYB want to take it, because if you think all the way back to week number 1, Speltz did play this champion. He also played the Viego. It's certainly a possibility if it gets left up. Last second, that lock-in will be... Oh, they're going to go straight for the bot lane. So Varus and Nautilus, a decent bit of CC to try and set that Viego up for success, and that should be the lock-in of the Aphelios to fill out the PSG bot side. I think Gwen probably not going to make it through the second phase of bans if that's the case.
Yeah, either way, they're going to have to make a decision of whether they want the Gwen or the Aphelios here. If you don't go for the Aphelios, it means that you're going to end up being on some sort of more supportive or facilitating AD carry like a Kalista or an Ashe in this case. But they do lock it in regardless, and now Gwen should be taken away by one of these two teams in the second phase. And then we'll see where it goes from there. PSG, I would say they want to try and focus a little bit more on that mid pool just to get an even greater advantage for Maple, but they could also go top side because, again, Hanabi usually ends up being in some sort of blind pick situation. If we can assume that this Viego goes into the jungle role.
Yeah, LYB definitely holding their cards a little bit right now, as they don't have to reveal just yet. The first ban of the second phase is the Camille, so they're not convinced that this is a top lane Viego. Kind of Viego's sort of been an every lane champion for LYB, actually. Yep. The handful of times they've gotten their hands on it. That will be the Ryze play. We're not yet seeing what the mid lane matchup is going to be. I'm sure Maple would like to get a favorable one for himself. And honestly, Maple as a champion Ocean, it doesn't really matter what you ban. He's going to find a good pick.
Yeah, and I think it really just comes down to what do LYB want to try and deny away. And what it looks like here is they're going to try and deny away some of that globals or map rotation capability coming in from Maple. Try and keep them stuck in this mid lane. I expect to see a TF ban for the second one, or they go for the Lucian. So wanting to try and cut down on some of that lane priority as well. So that's what you end up seeing from a Ryze and a Lucian, and does mean that Gwen is left available. They get Gwen for Hanabi, or if this matchup is really, really good in the jungle, they can give it into the hands of River. But there we go!
Fiddlesticks Kiana! Oh my word! The absolute Mad Lads. This is a composition that I am very excited to see.
Now, this is a composition that win ahead is absolutely devastating because there's just nowhere to hide. And this is a good look for them if they're able to put Maple onto an Orianna pick. Yes, it provides a lot of scaling. Yes, it makes... Okay, so it ends up pivoting towards the Sylas pick. And honestly, not a bad option when you look at where you can go and strip ultimates away from. You can get a Fiddlesticks ultimate. You can get a Kiana ultimate. And the terrain control you can get from those ults are really massive, but he can only take one. So LYB, their Wombo just a little bit better.
Yeah, if LYB can pull off the Wombo combo, that's always the difficulty when you're talking about a composition that needs the pitch perfect synergy to really pull off. LYB have been a team improving in the early end of the mid game. We've seen them take it all the way a couple of times now. The question is it going to be enough? I like what they've done. They've thrown down the gauntlet against PSG. This is a team that is not afraid, and you have to respect that.
First time they played each other, It was the Graves mid. It flopped considerably, but it was one of those big curveball picks you throw in there. LYB, once again, they managed to dig deep. They find a great champion combination. Yes, this requires a lot of snowballing to actually get to work, but once it snowballs, it really snowballs hard because of just how much pressure you can exert when it comes to just trying rotating around the map, because you never know when a Fiddlesticks or a Kiana are hiding in that bush.
All right, so I gotta ask you here, Nightstar. Nameplates off. Who do you think won this draft? I think I might know the answer.
Dude, I love this LYB draft. Unfortunately, like, while there is a timer, like, the way if this comp gets ahead, because you do have the Sylas who's fairly low range, you have a Lee Sin who's low range, you blow up that Aphelios and it's off to the races with this comp.
All right, have to see if it works out. LYB looking to knock PSG off their pedestal and secure themselves a third win in their hunt for playoffs with a Fiddlesticks Kiana Viego composition. This is going to be one to watch. Definitely pop some corn for this.
Oh, I am so excited for this matchup here. LYB, of course, a big underdog. They're 2-11 for a reason. PSG are 14-0 for a reason. But right here,
dear.
They're just picking on the return guy.
No. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. He's about to be the Ruined King for sure. Level 1, Harrowed Path.
Gets
Gonna walk away from
speed.
this. I love that PSG just decided, all right, you know what? We're just going to cheese this guy. What a start.
And this is kind of what you want to do as the team opposing the Fiddlesticks. You want to spot out where he starts, make sure you get an idea of where his pathing is. That way you can try and aggressively invade towards it, try and slow him down early on, because once he hits level 6, that's his big power spike. If you're able to slow him down, that's great.
Absolutely. Wombo
People,
combo
he could get cut off
to get online. Yeah, this is.
Oh no! They left.
Yeah, I thought it might be a bit of a dangerous moment, but no, they're fine. Deep ward does see Kaiwing coming to lane. That should indicate startup. So both junglers on the top side to kick things off, and we are off to the races. Been a little while since I've seen a jungle Fiddlesticks.
I mean, to be honest, like, not a lot of jungle Fiddlesticks has been played, even though it's actually been pretty good spot as far as the meta goes. It really just comes down to how the other team plays to shut it down. And well, right now Dodoy, he's going to get a bit of aggression coming in onto him, but because of mid lane priority, he should be relatively safe, or at least he's going to stop River from collapsing onto him. That's why you also see River kind of back off, even though that blue buff isn't being started out. Dodoy's just going ahead, accepting that, all right, I'll just go to the other side real quick.
Yeah. So talk me through this mid lane matchup here with Xyliath on the Kiana up against the Sylas.
Now, the Sylas pick is really confusing. I understand, like, the ults are pretty awesome to go ahead and steal from LYB, but the lane matchup isn't great. AD matchups a little bit better into Sylas, and definitely hard punish. So Sylas, he gets a nice pick here, and also just the fact that he's rocking the Ignite. We see 3 Ignites coming in from LYB. You know they're really playing for lane, and I love that fact that they're just trying to get as many advantages as they can.
Hanabi really getting some early pressure on Dispelts here. With the level disparity he'd been able to set up early on. Both are playing with Ignite Teleport. That's what Gwen does, and that is what Lane Viego does as well. We want to keep an eye on River this game, too. You know, there's so many exciting champions to talk about. You know, it's easy to kind of forget a boring old Lee Sin, but River is kind of a highlight maker, and I think he's about to do it. Yeah, Dodoy steps right into it. The silence and the fear comes down, forcing the flash, though. The follow, I think River might have first blood on this one. Dodoy has nowhere to go.
Really confusing play coming in from Dodoy. He knows that the crab just got taken. Now Xyliath could be in trouble. Does burn the flash.
Oh dear. Yep, that's River following flash in on Maple as well with the abscond. And River, just like that, 2 kills. The scream and the thumbs up. PSG off to a good start.
I'm so sad, Pyro. I don't understand what Dodoy was trying to accomplish here, because he knows
he saw
Scuttlecraft just
it go
went down.
down.
Like
He knows.
He's essentially standing on a ward, and he willingly accepts that and continues to path upwards. When Maple starts to path down, there's just no escape for this champion, and he ends up just really dead in the water. That also costs Xyliath his life, and this level 6, dual threat is just really feels like dead in the water.
Yeah, it's a bit diminished now. PSG, getting a great start, a lot of gold in River's pocket, and we've seen what a Fedley Sin can do. Let's go back and shop a little bit here. But the game does reset for the time being. Checking in on how the rest are going. Pretty easy, simple, straight up lane down to the bottom side. And, Speltz has been able to stop the bleeding as he is losing against Hanabi still, but only just.
It's still a relatively okay matchup for Speltz here in that top side. Has some okay sustain. Hasn't gone for the recall quite yet, as Hanabi does have that extra buy advantage with those items. Dodoy not too far behind when it comes to the farm, but I mean, River at this point, he's really just has license to invade, as we see coming in. Yeah, the bot lane gets priority. They start walking down. His bot lane going for the recall. At the very least, they're not going to get really, or Dodoy's not going to get hard punished, but Xyliath could be.
Yeah, Xyliath could be in trouble. Ult stolen before Xyliath even has his, and wow, that's got to feel bad when you get Kiana ulted first.
Yeah.
All right,
Hanabi has ult.
Hanabi, ooh, needlework doesn't quite connect. Speltz should get away from this. That was a little close for comfort, and you can see PSG really throwing their weight around tempo advantages by hitting level 6 first, and a lot of that, can be traced back to the play in River, by River, but also Hanabi just kind of playing a lot better topside. Speltz definitely set far behind here, as he actually is going to try for the 1v1, goes in, missed his on, but he's able to fight in it as Hanabi just walks under tower. Speltz doesn't have enough firing power to finish the job.
He tries to fish for a kill there, but unfortunately all he does is drop more farm to his tower. So he's actually in a big disadvantage because he isn't able to secure that kill, and now bot lane's in trouble.
Yeah, that's going to be... Oh, Aiden burns flash quickly to get away from the Flay combo, and yeah, this is kind of just what PSG do, right? They can beat you in just about every lane, and even when they can't, there's always jungle pressure coming through. So right now, this is PSG's early game, building themselves up about 1,500 gold lead, mostly in River, but also extended around the map. Big farm lead now, as Hanabi had the teleport advantage, comes back straight into lane after all of that said and done. Xyliath, have to be careful.
He's in trouble.
He has his ultimate. Oh, he's getting baited hard by Maple here. There's the tag in, trying to get away. Does dodge the Sonic Wave. Now Dodoy doesn't have his ultimate, though. Yeah, and he gets set behind. He doesn't have the Crow Storm. I think that could have changed things a little bit there.
If he was level 6 there, not get... Again, it comes down to the crab, right? Yes, River's not level 6 as well, but the Fiddlesticks just farms a little bit faster, able to clear more camps than just a single target DPS champion like Lee Sin. So he definitely would have been level 6 in that situation, and Speltz now possibly getting dove on.
Big dive, yeah. Speltz, I don't know what he thought he was going to be able to do with that one. Maple claiming the kill. Dodoy coming in a little bit late. Still level 5. This is painful to watch. Yeah, finally he levels up. Okay, Crow Storm incoming.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to get EXP from Speltz's lane, which is actually a pretty big boon for Dodoy, as he's going to get a lot of EXP. He does have to give up a little bit on this bottom half, as River is really hoping that someone oversteps their bounds. That's not going to happen.
Nobody there.
He'll just have to settle for red buff and probably settle and rotate over for the dragon. So it's going to be dragon for Herald trade.
Yeah, this is actually good for LYB right now, right? They don't lose too much. They knew they were going to lose a lot of jungle pressure bot, but by catching the wave, Dodoy does pick up a lot of EXP, and now combining up with Xyliath, they're able to secure Rift Herald, and PSG know this is happening, but they can't stop it. This could be a Herald pop top. Oh boy, Aiden, Dawn, you're playing with fire here. This is a dive coming. Flay into the Lee Sin, the hook back, and Aiden just can't do anything for his AD carry. Dawn will heal up and walk back to the tower, but now Unify is closing in the trap. That's going to be the ult. Misses, actually. And they're dodging out. This might work well for LYB as they cut the wave down. Hook back in. That will be the kill. They do manage to get out and juggle the aggro. Okay, so they get it at the end of the day. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Xyliath takes down Maple with the help of Dodoy.
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be a very tough escape for Dawn and Aiden, but given how much time they bought, it influenced PSG to try and make a rotation with Maple to help supplement and guarantee that those kills would happen. And as a result, Maple, he ends up getting caught out here as Xyliath comes in. I would assume that he gets the stun here.
Yeah, Pro Storm. Yeah. It's not the perfect combo, but you know, it works.
The amount of range you have with Crow Storm, of course, just helps so much. So the engage range there, and I do like that combination. But again, it means that they're very reliant on these two ult timings to actually make these plays. So they need more than just one pick at a time.
Oh boy, man, these think about Fiddlesticks is passive now, where like every one of his wards are another Fiddlesticks. Is terrifying. Dodoy is not sufficiently terrifying though. He's getting chased down by River.
Oh, a lot of healing though.
Big channel there, and actually Aiden tags in.
Aiden's probably dead.
I think he's still dead, but oh man, it just heals for days. River's not happy about that. Fear, he's dead. Okay. Oh, did Kaiwing just Kaiwing? Scumbag Kaiwing. Oh my god.
He secured it. No problem, guys.
Kill secured. Okay.
Yeah.
They're having fun with this game. Uh-oh, Speltz, you in trouble. He's trying to guess out the Sonic Wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out. Okay. All right, that's fair.
Heartbreaker still going to be able to make him such a safe champion. But it doesn't matter because PSG, they have a 4K gold lead. Again, while this composition is very, very fancy from the side of LYB, and they have wombo potential, when you're down 4K at 11 minutes, it makes that potential a lot lower. So they need to start finding more picks and fast once these ult timings come off a cooldown, which they are.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a missed opportunity. Xyliath was waiting in the Dragon Pit, and they didn't start it up while PSG were on topside jungle. I think they might have been able to do it, but I don't think they realized the moment they had. As it is right now, they walk away with nothing. Aiden does wait in this brush to see if they can get a pick onto Maple, really trying to snowball to Kiana. Seems to be the game plan here for LYB.
Yep. However, they are spotted out by that vision plant, and one of the ways to shut down a Fiddlesticks is to just aggressively ward into the jungle, make sure that he doesn't have a safe wall to ult over and surprise you with that Crow Storm. So far, it's paying off quite well. Yes, Dodoy did find one assist onto Maple. However, it's only been one kill for the side of LYB, and this combo needs a little bit more to truly get the rest of the squad over the line.
Yeah, PSG just starting to compound their lead a little bit here as it's about 4,500, and you're right, the ward coverage has been really good to try and prevent the surprise Fiddlesticks, and Unify just free taking these tower plates. Xyliath and Dodoy still sniffing for a kill, and oh, the Crow Storm, they're going to try to force this big stun, and River gets taken out on this one. There's the shutdown. Maple, though, tags his way back in. And here comes Speltz that's going to turn it around. Still ends up being a 1-for-1. Meanwhile, Kaiwing takes out Dawn on the bottom side. Didn't know how that happened.
Looks like it was just a little bit over-aggression. They tried to turn onto PSG's bot lane. I would assume to try and preserve the little bit of turret plating gold that they had left. However, when you have a completed shield bow up against a mishmash of items, it's just not going to be a victory for you. We're going to see the replay. It actually just ends up being a hook coming in from Kaiwing.
Oh boy.
Kaiwing on the thresh. If you ever disrespected, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that double play. What a play. All right, 14 minutes on the clock now. PSG As
Aiden doesn't know.
Solidly in the driver's seat. Aiden, yeah, he's got to be careful here. Xyliath already down to half health, and Maple just kind of bullying him. Maple's had a pretty good game, quietly stacking up on this Silas.
Yeah, and looking at the items, we do have the clips coming in from Xyliath, and we do have the Hex Tech Rocket Belt coming in from Fiddlesticks, so they are at that one item power spike that really starts getting the ball rolling. However, on the flip side, you have completed boots and mythics all across the board for the side of PSG, which makes assassination a little bit more difficult, especially with how much health is coming in from some of these mythics as well. River has a health mythic, Maple has health built into his mythic, Unified is getting a shield from his mythic.
Oh, and
really
Dawn,
tough.
I think is dead.
He's a little far from home.
Actually, yeah, yeah. He's no Spider-Man, unfortunately. Dodoy forced to flash away. In goes Maple into the back line and gets the deletion. What a stolen Crow Storm. Maple makes it look too easy, man.
And this is what happens when you're able to get individual leads as Silas, is that if you're able to reinforce them, you can snowball really, really hard with this champion. That's why a lot of pros are just enamored with this pick, even though in certain compositions you can definitely get hard outscaled. That's not necessarily going to be the case here against LYB. We're going to see the replay. They try and set up a death bush here, and they try and get the blow up, but Kaiwing actually really handy with that stopwatch, just prevents so much damage from coming through. And then it's just Dodoy, as a result of that, is naturally just out of position. They annihilate him, and that's all she wrote for that play.
Yeah, Kaiwing doing a great job at stopping the execution from happening, and not the biggest priority target in the first place, but all the same. Xyliath, one level down on Maple. This is a LYB Herald take, though, and it is being done relatively blind. Unfortunately, what they're getting up for it is still a lot, as the Gwen damage on bot tier 2 should be enough to secure it, and it is. LYB still trying and fighting for it. Give him credit. This is not a team that rolls over and dies.
Yeah, this is still a team that doesn't just immediately default into Hail Mary plays, although Dodoy, he's kind of stuck out.
Yeah, I think Dodoy might be dying after this one. Flay. Oh, Sonic Wave doesn't connect, but doesn't matter. Okay. That's going to be enough. Aiden should not have gone in on that one. Only 2 people dead instead of 1.
Well, he still ends up getting picked off. Definitely a bit of a mistake coming in from Aiden, but I mean, what can you say? At this point, 10k up at 17 minutes. PSG are just cruising to this victory. And for the side of LYB, this is a team that, unlike Alpha or Berjaya, who just constantly hunts for more and more skirmishes to try and throw as many coin flips as possible or dice rolls, LYB are a little bit more structured. They try and organize the next play rather than just fish for a 2v3 or a 3v4.
Yeah, LYB are a little bit more pre-planned for sure, but at the same time, the plans haven't really been working out as well. Aiden did fish for somebody there, but it's just such a huge deficit. You can see the gold diff this game. It's just been a lot. I really liked what was attempted here. The Fiddlesticks Kiana combination it's novel, it's fun. They managed to get a couple of picks on it, but unfortunately they're so far behind at this point. And Dodo has just kind of been hunted, and we're seeing it again. I mean, at this rate, he's not even going to be able to pop the Rift Herald.
Yeah, this Rift Herald is pretty much dead in the water just because of the fact that, well, yes, you got the Rift Herald, but how are you going to be able to put it down? If you ever extend that far out because of just the lack of vision control, you're just exposing yourself to get flanked on and collapsed upon by just how strong these bruisers are already on the side of PSG. You're still going to try something. Throwing down a Rift Herald mid. There's not a whole lot of health left here, and they're going to try and set a trap.
Aiden, he kind of opens up a little early. Actually goes in. The Crow Storm is there. The flay back the box. That should be enough to take down Kaiwing, but they already managed to get Aiden for it. The turn for PSG is way too real. Supreme display of talent. Display is not a whole lot, but there was a shutdown. River does get taken out as Maple tags his way in. and he manages to turn fire once more, so the trap gets turned for 2 for 2. 2 for 3 make that as he looks for even more.
Flash coming out from Maple, secures himself that kill onto Dodoy. And it might not quite be over as Don is trying to find his way out. He's going to be spotted by those minions, though.
He might.
He's going to go for the execute.
He's going to get the execute. He's going to get it. Oh, come on.
He's going to try and farm. Good dodge.
There we go. Bad. All right.
That's a win.
Excellent. We take those. You get the execute is worth. You don't feed the gold over to Maple. Make him waste the Kiana ulti stole. Moral victory.
We're going to see a replay of this attempt at a pick here, and honestly, it's a nicely orchestrated play here. You know, you have Dodoy with so much engaged rage with that Rocket Belt plus Crow Storm, but they just don't have enough damage, and unfortunately, they use all their damage onto the support, which means, well, the turn is just that much stronger from PSG. They've got all the bruisers left alive, and while Speltz is able to get the kill onto Lee Sin, the base is having a couple of issues.
Yeah, the base is getting sieged on pretty heavily. I feel like LYB, if they'd waited a little longer, they might have been able to more effectively bait that. But Aiden kind of gives up the game by wandering into the lane. Oh, there's the Crow Storm. And they're going to be able to find at least a little bit of damage. Maybe blow up Maple. They do. Oh, shut down gold on the Fiddlesticks. It's
so much damage, though.
Oh, my goodness. Unified just opens right back on up and is able to pew-pew his way to a double kill. Hook doesn't fly, but it doesn't really matter as PSG are so far ahead in this game. River even zoning Dodoy and Dawn out.
PSG, they just put their stamp on this game pretty much right here, right now. Unified shows up pretty much to his first team fight, and you can see how much damage he has farmed up from lane. Has the 2 items completed, has that extra Dirk as well, and he is just pumping out the deeps with that ultimate, especially as we're going to see the replay. Aiden tries to go for a catch. They thought they had Maple, and this is a beautiful angle from Dodoy, but again, not much damage left after they get the initial pick.
Oh, look at River here. He cleans up on the side lanes. Unified is protected the whole time. Honestly, PSG the way they play League of Legends is beautiful.
Yeah.
Depth shard stolen. Oh no. I love it. It's so poetic. Maple's just killing them with their own ultimates. And goodbye, Aiden.
So long. And they can't find more, but
Dodoy hits him with the BM. The old school BM.
You can already see, like, the game's kind of devolved in a different way. It's not into a Fiesta way. It's more of like, hey, you know, we know you're beating us right now, and we'll just have whatever fun we can.
Yeah, that's the important thing, right? And this is tough for LYB, right? But it was always going to be an incredible challenge to try and beat PSG. No one's done it in the league so far this split, so they're in good company. LYB's still going to be hunting for playoffs after this game. It's not going to be easy, but you know, some of the competition above them looks a little bit weaker. I'm looking at Berjaya Dragons. I'm looking at Hong Kong Attitude. I think Impunity, I think they found a way back in this, so I'm not super worried about them as much, but, you know, we'll see how week 5 goes after this. It's going to be really exciting. And Aiden goes in for the fight. Let's see if they have enough damage to blow somebody up. Kaiwing throws down the box, and Unified's ultimate just starts to dish way too much damage as Dodoy gets Crow-stormed himself, and Maple leading the charge now make that River as they go onto the fountain, and only Xyliath remains. 23 minutes on the clock. I think this is going to be all she wrote as PSG will lock up win number 15, still on the hunt for the perfect split in the PCS.
They keep the dream alive here, and everything goes as planned. The teams above, LYB definitely breathing a sigh of relief with just the fact that this cheese draft, or I would say it's a bit of an intelligent draft coming in from LYB. It doesn't find its mark. It doesn't scratch the god of PSG.
Right. This is it's just so hard to take this team out. I like the creative drafting. It was a little silly. It was a little fun. It was a little all in on the Kiana Fiddlesticks combination. They found a couple of kills with it, but not enough to do that against PSG. It's so difficult to take this team down, and they're looking so good. I wonder if anyone can knock them off, as they'll have 3 games to go in the regular split, and it's all going to be playoffs, baby.
Yeah, and with that, I do believe PSG also locks in one of the top 2 slots, so they're guaranteed to buy at the very least. I know that if you're a PSG fan, or even if you're PSG, you're not playing for just top 2, you're playing for top 1 and also the perfect split, but it's still something to know.
Yeah, I think it's always nice to have that locked in early enough. You don't have to worry about it too much. We'll see how much they actually take the perfect split for themselves, if maybe they have a little bit of fun in the last couple of games. Who knows? I would love to see the 18-0. That's something we don't often get to see. Certainly not done in the PCS. And from the LYB side, I really do like the creative drafting. I like what they're bringing out. The execution is always a little bit tough to pull off. And it's still going to be tough to get into the playoffs this split. But they are only a couple of games back from the likes of Hong Kong Attitude, who have been on a massive slump. But Berjaya Dragons lost again earlier today, so they're still kind of in the picture. Again, even though Impunity have the same record, I think Impunity have kind of been a little bit more on the up and up, so I think they're probably a little more safe. It really just depends on that last week of play, but the playoff race really does start to heat up at the bottom end of the bracket.
Yeah, still 4 games left for LYB here, and if they manage to win all 4, I mean, it's a very, very tough schedule. I don't quite recall who they play, but I know
they have Alpha
definitely
still.
They still, well, even then, it's like 1 win. You're still not quite there. I would think that they at least need 3 out of the 4. So for the teams above them, they just need 2.
Yeah, the teams above definitely have to try and pull that off. But bringing it back into this game, PSG were really in control from the get-go. A couple of good plays by Dodo and Xyliath combining up. Speltz, I think he had a little bit of a hard time getting rolling on this Viego, and you can see why PSG weren't afraid to let it through. They got so many power picks in exchange. And Maple just popped off on this Silas. I mean, Unified did a great job too, but River is actually going to be our MVP. It all kind of started with Dodo just straight up face-checking in full knowledge right into him, and he punished him hard. From there, he never let go of the lead.
And River, he knew how to shut down this Fiddlesticks. He invaded that blue buff, made sure that Dodoy left that side of the jungle, went onto the other side, and then he got gifted that kill in the river. However, he really used that extra gold to truly shut down that Fiddlesticks pick, and that was probably the most critical part of this game. As the Fiddlesticks got online, there was definitely a chance, but they never got that chance.
No, and that's what PSG does. They just make it so difficult to execute anything against them, and continuing that perfect record. But we have got 1 more game to go. You will not want to miss it. It's a clash at the top of the table, Beyond versus Boom. We'll be right back with that game in 10.